I started out in lures, really moving here to Tuncurry, and getting back into fishing. I'd always fish during the holidays, when we lived out west, sort of coming over the coast and fishing, and moving here I got way into fishing again, and I got into reading about fishing and watching about fishing, and then naturally, like, reading about fishing led me to reading an article in the fishing world about making lures, and I was like, hey, this seems really, really cool, and I read a couple of things, and next thing you know, I started mucking around in the shed, and around that time I started doing some bass fishing, and that really gave me the bug, and so I started making a couple of bass lures and taking them with me. We had a couple of great nights up on the Manning where I'd caught some fish, and next thing you know, it just snowballed from there. So the lure process from the beginning, I think it starts with a need. So fishing, like when I started and I was really getting into it, especially bass fishing, I really loved the surface. So my need was I needed to make some surface lures. It's what I wanted to do. It's what I felt I needed to do. And it just begins by sitting down with some paper and sketching up some ideas that I think might work. Trying to keep it simple. I try and keep a lot of my shapes as simple as I can, because ultimately, if it works, I want to be able to do it again. And the more complicated I make it, often I have a really nice lure once, and I find it really hard to do it again. So I try and stay simple. So from the paper, it'll be drawing it on timber, and cutting it up, shaping it up, sealing up the timber, and slapping some paint on and going for a throw. And if it works, coming back again and just refining a few of those things, especially if I'm thinking that other people might like that lure that I've done. So the types of lures that I like to do are typically the ones that I like to fish with. So I've got some divers which I'll use for the bass and the flathead. They sort of dig down a little deeper. I've got some little shallow runners that you saw me using today. I like getting up into the skinny water and just running those really little lures around that only dive just under the surface. Poppers for bass, but poppers also for the bream as well. Starting to get a couple of whiting too, which is nice. And a couple of big surface crawlers for bass. And I've just recently started getting into developing a big Jew hard body, so a big shallow running minnow for Jew to be thrown off rock walls and the stones, that sort of thing. I always call myself a bit of a selfish lure maker because I tend to make things that I like and that sort of scratch the itch for me. And it's the same thing with the colours. I sort of tend more towards colours that I would be more inclined to throw, that I feel that the fish might respond to. Often looking towards what bait there is in the waters that I'm fishing, some mullet, whitebait, also the colours of insects and sort of other little freshwater fish that the bass might eat up in the streams and the rivers. So blacks, coppers, yellows, oranges, a lot more natural sort of darker colours, and then throw that in with some golds and silvers that I like to use down here in the lake. So what draws me to fishing in the kayak I think it's very much go at your own pace. And we really had a feel for that today, that it's such a quiet way to fish. And then you have moments where it can be explosive, and those are the really exciting moments, when you latch onto that really quality fish, or you hit a patch of fish that just want to play, and they're climbing all over your lures, and it's me and I'm there, and no one else is around, because I can get to those spots where there's not many people, and I have that moment, or I get to share that moment with someone, and that's special. Seeing those dolphins come up the creek this morning, that's special. I mean, how many people around Australia get to see that when they wake up in the morning, and straight after brekkie they walk down to the wilderness at that. It's just unreal, and some of the things that you see and experience is, I guess you can put it down to being on an intimate level, being down there on the water and like close to the water, going at that slow pace and not flying by and missing it all. Well, I mean, the birds were just sending up a flare. There was just so many of them, and they were working, and we know that they're there for one reason, and the way they were working is they're there for a feed. And it just got me thinking, because I knew that bank, and I knew that bank was banging tight where the mangroves were, where those birds were, and that's very, very shallow, and it comes out for a bit of a way, and then it has a little bit of a drop, and it's weedy and sandy, and I just thought that those birds are going to be scaring a lot of that bait around. It's going to be sort of flicking off in directions, and there's going to be some fish sitting off those birds, probably picking up those fish that are scared and disorientated. I just thought, you know what, it's always worth the throw. You see those birds, and it's always worth it. This is why I do it. This is why I make lures. He's by no means a Wallace Lake mammoth, but I'll tell you what, I'll take them any day of the week. So where do I see RV Lures in 5 years' time? I'd hate to see it where it started feeling like it was a job. I think if that happened, I'd probably step back from it. So I think I'd just like to see it poking along the way it is, getting, having people who are interested in what I do make contact with me. That's exciting. It's exciting to sell a lure to someone, and then they get in contact with me, a week down the track, and say, "Hey, my son and I went fishing the other day, and he got a fish on your lure." Or my son got his first bass on one of your early prototypes, and it's just little, but it's special, and I think that's what makes my lures special to me, is just those little moments. It's not the fact that they catch any more fish than any other lure, because it's just not true. It's just that I guess once again it comes back to me being selfish. It's all about me, that person had a great time and they caught a really nice fish on my lure, and they're stoked about it, and that makes me really excited and happy too, that I guess that the efforts that I put in sort of pay dividends. I do love making lures. I love making lures to the point where I make lures and I won't get to finish it, and I'll start something else because I've got an idea, and that maddens me because I never get back to it, and then I eventually do years later, and I've got so many other things on the boil. Bit of a love-hate relationship, but I really do. I enjoy it. It's good fun.